All right, cool. We're good to go. All right, yes. You still there?
Yes, I am here.
All right, cool. Recording again. So the reason why I didn't, like I said, I'll just explain it again for the view. So the reason why I didn't go down that route is because the physical attributes came up. But you're absolutely right. Okay. So number one is if I ask any of you, right, to explain what makes you valuable, right? What makes you, what I do? And I do eat healthy as popcorn. It's just popcorn, y'all. Damn. Like, so don't try to do that. I would think that he would do this. I'll do whatever I want to do. I eat whatever I want. All right? So here we go. If I ask you what makes you valuable, let's talk about in regards to a relationship. What makes you think that a woman or a man would absolutely love you? What makes you believe that you are a good man or woman? Y'all go ahead and answer in the chat. Go ahead and put your answers in the chat. What makes you good for a man or for a woman? I appreciate you, Miss Merle. Okay. Because I am me, kind heart, because I just am, because I am a goddess, good intentions. Nothing. All right. I feel like home. Face card. Okay, girl. All right now. Kindness, compassion, understanding, generous. All right, Glow, I'm finna bring you up for this conversation. Just because you said that. Empathetic, compassionate, kind, loving, loyal, kind, compassionate, trustworthy, loving, considerate, caring. Because I'm kind-hearted. I am loyal. I want y'all to hold up, y'all. Okay? This is a great question. Great question. Yes, it was a great thing for you to bring up. All right? Now, all of y'all that gave attributes, right? I'm fun. Because I'm loyal. Because I'm compassionate. Because I'm comparing. Because I'm caring. Because I'm nurturing. Because I'm this. Because I'm that. In regards to who? In regards to who? Who are you basing that on? Basing that on what? Matter of fact, we typically go through reality, right? And we start judging things, okay? We get this concept of right and wrong. We develop standards and we start saying, oh, well, this person is good, this person is not. This person is better, this person isn't. So obviously I'm better at this than that. All right? But all of those things are rooted in comparison. They're fleeting things. They're not the truth of who you are. They're just you making a judgment. But they're not the truth of who you are. What truly makes you valuable? All of those things are simply built on the identity that you are God, so you can be whatever you say you are. I am worthy. I am trustworthy. I am so nurturing. Those things hold no weight if it wasn't for the fact that you were God. Everything on top of I just am, because I'm God, because I exist. Everything outside of that is built on the foundation of I am. You have to be God before you can make any of those declarations. So we'll constantly base our identity on these fleeting things. Because I'm beautiful. Well, what happens when you lose that beauty? Well, I'm kind. Well, what happens when you have a bad day? What happens when you have life just turn upside down on you? Because I'm nurturing. What happens when you can't be? What happens when you're just deep in shit? And that gets taken away. You can't be nurturing because you got to focus on you. What happens then? Are you not worthy of having someone? No, you are worthy of whatever you want just by way of consciousness. This is what your worth is built on. All of those things, exactly all of those things are conditional. Forgiving, conditional. You're not 100% forgiving. You ain't all the way forgiving. All of those things are conditional except for I am source. So when we base our value on anything outside of the truth of who we are, fragile. It's fragile. You're not always nurturing either. It's been a couple of people I can walk around here and I can take an interview of some of the people you've been with and say, are you nurturing? Hell no. Nurturing? Motherfucker don't know it's conditional anyway. You are God. This is the unconditional part of you. Your essence is that you are God. Therefore, you can choose whatever you want. You can choose to have whoever you want. You can choose to be whatever you want. That is it. Everything else is built on top of that foundation, right? So we go to that foundation and then we build on top of it. Go to the truth of who you are. You deserve whatever and you can choose whatever because you are God. Now, what else does this do? Now, if I say I'm kind, but I know it's because I am God, I no longer need to defend that. It's because I choose to be kind. Because I choose to identify as that, right? I want to have this person. Why do you want to have this person? Well, the ego's always going to ask why? 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 Do you even know why you want them? But they treated you like this. Couldn't you get somebody better? What if you're being divinely protected? What if there's something better meant for you? What if this is a season of isolation? What if? The only thing that silences it is because I choose. Because I am God. Because I choose. That's it. That's the only answer that matters. Everything else leads to more and more and more questions. You are worthy because you are what? The manifestation of God. That's it. You're loved because you're the manifestation of God. Abundance because you're the manifestation of God. You are everything you desire to be just because you're the manifestation of God. That's it. That is it. What's up, Glow? What's up, Yessie?
And also too, another thing that that really stuck to me that I've been sharing a lot, it's that you also asked me if I had accepted that I was God or God was within me, and I told you yes. And you also said like you make sure that I was like you're like, are you sure? And I said yes. And you asked me what God was, and I said God is everything. God is infinite, right? And then you were like, so if God is everything and God is infinite, how can you be lacking of anything? And that really stuck to me because it's like, well, how can I be lacking in reality of like money, love, or anything if everything's within me? So at the time, it's like, I feel like sometimes we say that we are source and we understand it to a certain extent, but since we're like so I don't like, to me, just the way that I could explain it is that it feels confusing just because the mind cannot comprehend what that is. So because of that, I think that I'm doing something wrong just because for the mind it's not fully clear that I am everything, that I am love itself, so I cannot be lacking love. That I am abundance itself, so I cannot be lacking of love itself, right? And because I had accepted that things must come to me because that is law. But my mind cannot grasp that, so sometimes I think I'm confused, and I'm like, but how? But this, but that, but it already clicked. But the mind is trying to find logic to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wild because, then going back to, it's like before, oh, well, I'm a high value woman. And now when somebody tells me this, I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, because I'm God, and because of that, I am deserving of whatever the hell I want, whether it looks good to you or not. I just deserve it, right? But I can no longer even give myself a label of like, well, I'm a high value woman based on who?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even my own expectations. It was else said that I should be and that I should look like.
Exactly.
Now I decide if I want to take that perspective and go on live and experience life through those lenses or through a different lens that may look crazy to somebody else, and I need to be completely okay with that.
Exactly.
It's
all those things about even like kind, nurturing, all that. It's not even, for the most part, it's really not even our decisions, right? Somebody has told us all of these things, right? Somebody's told us all.
And also too, what may be kindness to you, it's completely a different meaning what it's kindness to me, right? Like the other day you said, oh, because I have a good heart. Based on who? Based on whose perspective? You sit here, we all sit down, and we're all probably are going to give a different meaning of what a good heart is. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, if we try to humble ourselves down based on, well, I deserve this because I'm such a kind person. I just deserve it because I freaking deserve it because I am God, and that is it. But we try to find the kindness, the love, I don't know, it just...
Yeah.
That really right there really stuck to me, and I really wanted to bring it up because it literally that day that you sat there and you triggered the hell out of me, Alex, which I love it. Because you even said back when I told you, I said you're like, well, who is Jessie? And I said I'm a hot galley woman, and you were like, why? And you even sat back in that chair and kind of leaned to the side like, I'm about to get this girl out of her little bubble. And you sure freaking did, and I'm so thankful for it because ever since, like, my whole perspective just shift to a different level, to a more powerful level, I would say.
Yeah. You're preaching right now. Keep going.
No, I just wanted you to, I just wanted other people to hear that perspective because they literally did change my way of just being itself.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It's a journey that we all go through, right? It's that journey of remembrance. And we can sit here and we can try to justify why we want things, right? I could try to justify, well, why do I want abundance? Why am I caring? Why am I this? Why am I that, right? The mind is always going to come up with questions. The mind wants to see before it trusts. Okay. But our job in using our memory is to go back to that reminder that, well, no, it's because I choose to, it's because I am God. And on that foundation, I can choose to be whoever I desire to be. There's no limitation, and I don't need to justify it. I don't need to explain it. It just is who I am. I get to step in my power. That's what reclaiming your power is. Taking your power back from things is I no longer give my power to all the stories or all the past or what people say I should do. You could tell me that this is how a woman should act in my life. I might want her to be a little bit nastier than the average man does. Okay? And that's what I'm going to accept. You might want multiple women. Somebody else might want one. You might want one. Somebody else might want multiple. You get to decide because why? Because you're the creator of your reality. Other people can tell you, right? Well, this is what it means to be good. This is what it means to be righteous or moral. All of those things shift. They're never consistent. They're all based on that perspective. But I get to decide who I am. I get to set the foundation of my life. I get to step into my power. That's all I'm going to say. Because I don't want to overshadow what you just said. Yes, I appreciate you.
Alex, going back to the last questions that I had did over wherever when I made you not be so happy about what I had asked you the other day. Remember that I told you I watched the video?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? I came down to realizing that a lot of people do go based on that, and I think that's what creates a lot of resistance too. Because
give the full breakdown. You ain't gotta say no names, but give a full breakdown.
So the other day, I was sent a video, and on the video, the person was talking about that the reason why we kept getting more of unwanted circumstances were because we kept focusing or we were aware of things being a certain way on your 3D, right? And it confused me a little bit because until I met you, I thought that that's what it was. So the reason why I had so much resistance, I feel like what I thought or I was battling, I was kind of forcing myself to always think things that were based on what I wanted. So don't entertain that thought, because if you do go and or you go if you do go into imagination and you think of those thoughts and go into that story, your focus is in that situation. You're gonna create more of that. And I feel like a lot of people, and I feel like it's more like beginner stuff that people are still doing that. So they're always battling something because they're thinking that whatever they put their focus on, that's what they're creating. But in reality, it's not your focus, it's your knowing behind that. And I went on with that for like a whole year, thinking that I needed to concentrate on the things that I actually did want instead of me saying no. It's not the focus, it's the knowing behind it. And I started hearing, and the more that I started hearing, I started paying attention. Is like, well, don't be aware that that person is being with you a certain way. Well, how can I not be aware if I am awareness itself? But I can just choose that that is not my end goal.
Exactly.
But a lot of people do that. That's why they do so much affirmations. That's why they don't go like they're kind of like thinking like the mind it's this horrible thing. That's why they're visualizing. That's why they're doing so much, because they're thinking that the more that they put a focus on that, that's the more that they're getting close to what they actually desire. But in reality, I feel like that's very beginner, and that's why there's certain people that are always just doing. Well, I have to get up in the morning and do affirmations for 30 minutes. I have to visualize I don't know how many times a day. I have to go in meditation, because if you put your focus on that, that's how it's going to come to you.
Yeah.
But it's really not that, because then we're always in a process of doing.
Yes. You make yourself the enemy when it's not. Right? The thoughts are just mechanisms, right? It's a mechanism based on what you've seen in the past. It might be trying to protect you from a certain pattern. That's it, right? So going to war with all of my thoughts, right? That's just going to put me on this endless rabbit hole, this endless loop where I don't even enjoy my life. I'm just sitting there trying to battle my mind all day. Don't be aware of this person not showing up the way that I want them in my life. Them not showing up the way that I want them to show up is not the problem. Circumstances don't matter. People will always say circumstances don't matter, but then they will say, well, don't be aware of people showing up the wrong way. That doesn't make sense. Of course you're going to be aware of them because they're in your physical reality. It's about going to the knowing of who you are and then understanding that this is not the end. This is simply the perfect unfolding of who they truly are, right? So there's no need, I don't need to sit there and battle and flip my thoughts all day and focus on a certain thing all day. No, I can just be. If I were God, I would not need to do that. And you are God, so you don't need to do that. You simply need to decide who you are, choose an identity, choose a character, walk through life, and know that reality is going to unfold to match the character that you're assuming. That is it. Go ahead, Izzy.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of us are so afraid of the thoughts, because we think that if we're focusing on if our focus or if our awareness is in those thoughts, we are creating based on that.
Right, right.
And I literally, Alex, so I found you, which was like, I think one of our last sessions that I asked you, you're like, I was like, well, I thought this, and you're like, you thought that until when? I said, till right now, because that's what I was taught. That, as long as I keep putting my focus on certain things, I was gonna keep getting more of that. But it was just never. I mean, of course, like what I've learned with you, it's a lot more power. It's the knowing. Like, of course, I'm gonna be aware of certain things.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot not be. How can somebody tell you don't be aware of what you actually are, which is awareness?
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be aware of certain things showing up. But, I mean, the contrast gives you the ability to choose. You get to choose what you want based on whatever you see. And you don't have to identify with everything anyway, right? Just because I see something that I don't like, it has nothing to do with me. Did anybody have a question mark that was raised when I said that? Just because I see something I don't like doesn't mean it has anything to do with me.
It's cleared.
Just making sure.
Wait, it's not clear for me.
Okay, perfect. Just because something shows up in my life, right, does not mean it has anything to do with me. Why not? And how could it not? If reality is reflecting me, how could it not have anything to do with me? This is why I say this. Because right now you stand in eternity. You stand within infinite possibilities right now. All right? If you take the perspective that everything has something to do with you and everything, what you're going to do is a situation that you don't like is going to show up. And what are you going to say? You're going to say, what did I do wrong? How can I fix this? What was I thinking wrong? What was I being wrong? You know what that does? That automatically makes you identify with this situation. You automatically believe, you get sucked into thinking that you did something wrong. And now this situation is you. And now you're fighting against the mirror. You're saying, let me try to figure out what to do wrong or what to do differently. So instead of you just taking this situation and being like, I don't want that, and choosing your identity, choosing who you are, you're taking this situation and you're using it to define you. It has nothing to do with you. It doesn't matter. Things just show up. All right, right now. Let me give you another example. Okay, you've decided you're safe, you're in love, your prosperity. You get in the car with your loved one. Okay? And y'all get into a car accident. And you sit there wondering, what did I do to manifest this? I wouldn't have chosen this. I wouldn't have chosen this shit. What did I do to choose this? Now, what are you doing? You're identifying with the situation. You're saying, because this happened, I must have done something wrong. When really this situation is just giving you an opportunity to choose. Oh, we got out safely. I'm going to get some money from this. God, I am always comes through for me. I am always comes through for me. I'm always divinely protected. This woman that you love shows up in your life. And she does something that, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I'm identifying with it. I'm saying, no, this is who I am. I am a person that gets this in my reality. And now I'm trying to fix it. But really, the more that I'm trying to fix it, I'm identifying with it. Instead of me just saying, nah, this is who I am. And this is who you're going to be. It goes back to what I'm saying. If God is everything, God is all that there is, what do you expect to not see in reality? Now, you can go through reality and take everything personal if you'd like. Tell me how that works out. Tell me how that works out. Because a lot of you will tell me that, no, rather as a mirror, Alex, everything reflects me. I'll say, oh, really? So you mean to tell me that every fucking thing that you see in your reality, every single thing that you've seen in your reality, every single fucking thing that you've seen in your reality, you have said is you? Everything? Everything. You've identified with everything. Don't fucking lie to me. You haven't. You turned on the news, you saw a fire raging, you say all this thing, you said, shit, not my fucking fault. Click, and you click that motherfucker off. The only time that you start saying that it's all you is with some shit you don't like. And all of a sudden you start identifying with it. Some shit you don't like that impacts you, all of a sudden, oh, that's me. Whoa. What about all this other shit that wasn't you? Politics, that was none of your business. That car accident that you saw across the street, pow, that was none of your fucking business. You just kept on going. Homeless man you saw on the street, none of your fucking business. That wasn't you at all. But all of a sudden, this person walks into your life and does something. Now that is you. Now you want to identify with that. You've been picking and choosing this whole time. So don't give me that holier than thou, more conscious than now bullshit. You get to always choose who you are going or what you're going to identify with and what you're not. You always get to choose. You can say, oh, this is me. I must be doing something wrong. Guess what? Reality says, yes, you're right, because you've decided that. Or you can say, what? I don't choose that. I don't choose that anymore. This is who I am. This situation, I bless it. I thank it. It's giving me clarity on what I want. And now I have gratitude that I am the creator, that source unfolds from within me. And I walk with that knowing and allow everything to unfold through me. But don't you sit up here and tell me that everything in your reality you identify with. Don't you fucking tell me that lie. Don't do it. Don't do it. All them things that happen. Oh, go ahead. I forgot y'all were on for a second.
Alex.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So, in which I hear you. Yeah, you're right. There's certain things that sometimes we stay so focused into like, how do I grade this, how that, right? But where it's the fine line where you actually realize that you are identifying with something that keeps playing out on your repeatedly. Because there's certain things that play out that we don't care about. But the ones that do play out and trigger us, it's because there's something that needs to be released. I believe that it's not, I guess, beneficial for you, that you don't prefer. So it's just kind of putting the light on the little dark spot that just needs to let go, right?
Yeah.
That's why it bothers you.
Yeah.
But also too, if certain things, it's like, I don't know, for example, that I could think of is like, you know, I keep getting cheated on, and it's like, well, reality is gonna do what reality is gonna do. No, because I don't want that. But if it keeps happening, then
No, but that's the choice though. Your choice is to say, I keep getting cheated on. This is exactly what I'm saying, okay? Is that you get to identify with the situation or not. Identifying with the situation is me saying, oh, because this person cheated and this person cheated, I am someone who always gets cheated on. That's the choice right there. That's me identifying with it. You're not the person that always gets cheated on. You only been cheated on twice or 3 times or 4 times, some of y'all, right? But that's not who you are. That's a story you're telling. You've said, because I see this in my reality, this is who I am. You took in 5 different moments, right? You've chosen 5 different moments in time. 5 moments does not define infinity. Last time I checked, infinity was infinity. Right? 5 little moments, right? Just because 6 other dicks enters your woman doesn't mean that it's a pattern, guys. It's you're telling this story, okay? So I can identify with it and say, this is who I am. I'm somebody who always gets cheated on, or I can decide who I am right now. I get to decide who I am right now, and I get to say, okay, I no longer want to tell that story. It's always about us. It's always about me. So that's what I mean. You get to choose anyway. Those situations will always show up. Patterns will show up. But are you going to identify with this pattern, or are you going to say, no, I can't be cheated on because there's only me. Everybody is me. There's no one for you to cheat on with. So now I start telling the truth about my identity in reality, and now reality conforms to me. Always the beloved, always honored, always loved, never cheated on, because there's no one to cheat on me with. Who you gonna go to?
So after you make your decision, those things must fade away or won't happen again because you stop identifying with them. You made that decision, right? That's what I was kind of thinking. Like, okay, well, if I make the decision and it happens again, well, I'm like, well, I am God, so. What do I expect not to see? Well, enough.
No, that's a cop out. That's a cop out at that point, right? So at that point, you've made the choice, okay? You've made the choice. And so if they're still cheating, now you've made the choice. You get to allow reality to conform and catch up, or you get to decide, no, that was it. I'm going to leave. But for me to be like, oh, I'm just going to keep letting them cheat because what do I expect not to see until they conform to who I decide they are? I I that wouldn't be the approach I would take. That's not going to be. I would take the approach that they just don't cheat anymore. And if they do again, I'm going to have to make a serious decision on not being there anymore. You get to choose however you want to allow reality to unfold. But but when you're in that middle, don't allow the middle to dissolve your sense of self-worth and your boundaries. Unless you don't care. Unless you're just like, okay, whatever. It's going to match and it is what it is. But I wouldn't. That's not what I would choose. But I'm not y'all.
I'm just trying to understand just the whole overall thing. Like, like, I guess when it's that there's a blind spot for you, that's why things keep happening like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, just because whenever you do mention, you always say, well, reality is gonna do what reality is gonna do. But there's certain things I don't want reality to do for me. Then where it's the fine line that goes there. That's just literally what I was trying to understand.
Oh, I mean, there's really nothing that's going on without your awareness. There just might be things that have went on for so long that you're just not aware. Like, you just take them for granted. Like, oh, this is just how men are. Oh, this is just how shit is. Like, so there's really nothing that's just not, you're just not aware of. It's about you actually being present enough to see the stories that you're telling instead of just going through life on autopilot. But once you notice something, you change it instantly. That's it. It's done. When you notice it, it's healed. There's nothing that's hiding from you. These comments are wild.
I'm sure people on the live thinking like, damn, she's getting cheated on. No, guys, I don't even have a boyfriend. I've been single like for 2 years, so please don't go there.
No, we know
okay?
you're not. We know you're not. Yes,
I'm
you
just
don't.
giving examples.
Yeah, we know you don't get cheated on.
I could give an example because
Alright.
this is like yes, yeah, I love you because you asked my question. Literally, you kind of asked my question because I think that's kind of what I'm struggling with. So when I think about it, it's like I am dumbfounded at how when Alex talks about his mom and the 5-inch tumor in her lung, like the first doctor, it's cancer. The second, like oh shit, like did I do that? Like did I make my mom have cancer? Like right, like that's choice, right? If I want to identify with that, like is everyone with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So obviously Alex didn't do that, but if he did think that, like it's okay to think that because thoughts don't matter. It's just returning back to being still and remembering I am God and being still. So the second doctor, like same thing, right? It's cancer. Third doctor also said it's cancer. But we have this like new up and coming medicine. And like, okay, then the medicine works. Like, okay, great. Like I did that. Like she's getting better. So like I can take, like I would naturally kind of want to take credit for that, right? Like, yep, I manifested that. I said she's perfect because I'm perfect. And my mom is perfect and healthy and healed. Like, yeah, but then of course the medicine didn't work. So it would be easy to kind of like do that flip-flopping.
Yeah.
When it's like now because we know quote unquote the ending. Because again, it's not the end, right? Like there is a chance it could come back. But then again, I can hear Alex saying, well, if it comes back, like I'll just make it disappear again. Like I did it once, like why couldn't I do it again? I'm God. Like, and I think that's the part where like I'm really struggling with. It's yeah, like the things can still happen, but they're not me. But then of course, like when the bad things happen, like as if my mom had cancer, like I would also be really devastated, and it would, yeah. So that might be a better example than the cheating. Because the cheating, I'm like, me, but like for me, like that cancer thing, like it really gets to me in a really emotional way.
Yeah, makes sense. So the journey is the journey, right? And I can't control how the journey unfolds. The journey is going to unfold on the path of least resistance. Now, the path of least resistance can look all kinds of ways. if the first two doctors had just said yes, well, the only thing that we had to do is chemo. And me, in my mind, I was already like, I don't want my mom to do chemo. Let's say that she got those two decisions and she got those two judgments, verdicts, right? And now she has to make a choice based on two. And she says, you know what? This is actually what I want to do. Now, what position are we in? Do things unfold perfectly? I'm sure they would have, but at that time, right? It was, okay, no, now experimental drug. The first one didn't work. Another one, okay, that one works for a little while, then it stopped. All of these things, this perfect unfolding, no matter how it went on this situation, I can look in hindsight and say, okay, this will be perfect. But if it had unfolded a different way, I could still look at it in hindsight and say that it would be perfect. Me saying that the circumstance is perfect, okay, is not me saying that this is what I like. It's not me saying that when this doctor says your mom's got a couple months, enjoy your time. It did not mean I liked the situation. I just knew that this situation is going to unfold from within me. This situation has God all over it. The fullness of God is in this situation, even if I can't fucking see it. And the fullness of God is within me. And so now, however the situation unfolds, it's going to be the fullness of God unfolding from within me to animate this situation. I can look at it and say it's perfect. The situation does not seem ideal, but it's perfect because the God within me is perfect. That is what it goes to. That is the remembrance. The remembrance is not me trying to like a situation that I don't like. I did not like the doctor telling me that it's not going to work. I did not like the medicine not working. I did not like my mom going through radiation. I hated it. I didn't like her complaining, but I wasn't trying to make her, hey, mom, learn the law. Be positive. I knew I was God. Imagine Jesus stopping somebody and saying, hey, no, you got to learn this law first. So that's not what it was about. It's about me simply seeing things, choosing to remember as many times as I could. Even when it hurt, I chose to remember. Even when I hurt, I chose to say this situation is perfect because God is within it and God is within me. Therefore, it must be perfect. It's all me. It's all me. So to me, it takes, of course, to me, it took a little bit more discipline because it was my mother. All right. But I was also much more motivated because it was my mother. So these things show up in our life, right? All of these different situations show up where, yeah, this shows up and it doesn't look like it's going perfect. But when I'm triggered, I can still choose. I still get to choose. And the thoughts flow. I'm not monitoring my thoughts. I don't spend any time observing my thoughts. I think it's a waste. I'm not observing shit. I just know they don't create. I just know who I am. I'm not observing my emotions. No thanks. I just know they don't create. And so I allow myself to be human while still honoring my divinity. And my divinity is I've already decided my mom is perfect and every situation is the perfect unfolding. And it doesn't matter how I feel about it. It just is perfect. Because I am perfect, because she is perfect, right? No matter what. This is an irrevocable. The moment that I make this decision, there is an irrevocable covenant between me and God. Irrevocable covenant. God will not go back on God's word. And so I must hold up my end. And I do not go back. I don't go back. The line in the sand was drawn. From the moment I make the decision, it's already done. I remember that moment. And I go back and remember, no matter what the situation looks like. And of course I was desperate. Absolutely fucking desperate. Of course. But guess what? It didn't matter. It did not matter. The desperation did not matter. The fear did not matter. The anxiety did not matter. All that did not matter. The joy and all that stuff did not matter. The happiness, the excitement when it started working, none of that mattered. All that mattered was my decision. Was I knew who I was. It was God that did the work, not my ego that was bitching and moaning and complaining, not my feelings that fluctuated every 10 minutes. Oh, try to feel good about it. I would have drove myself crazy, and I wouldn't have even been able to be present with my mom through that time if I was trying to focus on my emotions the whole time. So, yeah, that's the story. It's done. Like, it's a covenant between me. I wouldn't have even had the desire if it wasn't possible. I can't have the desire without it being absolutely possible. I couldn't have the desire. And I know God is faithful. Right? To man, it might be impossible, but to God, ain't nothing impossible. I'm not trying to do this. I'm not trying to convince my ego to bring a manifestation. I'm sitting in the knowing that God is within me. That's it.
Thank you for the clarification. That really helps just throughout like multiple things in my life. Like I'm literally looking into the barrel of like, I don't like this at all. and so, and so I think, and I promised my friend, because I asked her this question and we were like kind of discussing it, and she's like, I wonder what Alex would say. And I was like, I wonder what Alex would say too. But we phrased it a little differently. And so, hold on. First, I'm trying to understand, just clarify so that I can repeat the answer to her. Because I think for us, one thing that really came up was, so it's not about taking credit for even the comfortable emotions, aka like happiness and joy, and not taking, and then also not taking or taking credit for the negative, quote unquote, uncomfortable emotions too. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, like the fact that like we're even tallying, right? Like, oh, like take credit for this and take credit for that. Like that is that's sure you can think that, but like that has nothing to do with me, aka God. Correct?
Absolutely. God is above those emotions, right? God just is. Awareness just is. Awareness is love, therefore it doesn't need your love. Love is just the polarity of God anyway, right? We feel hatred, we feel bitterness, we feel sadness, we feel anger, we feel excitement, we feel joy. All of these are just different parts of love, different, but they're all love. It's all God. God doesn't need it because God is it. Spirit just is love.
Yeah. The way I described it was, I was telling my friend about how like new level unlocked, like a new level of like conscious awareness or whatever, just, or I guess just awareness, because I'm consciously just, I'm like, oh, this is new. We've never felt this before. Because like I remember a year, like 5 years ago, I was telling myself the story of, I'm not angry. I'm angry that I feel angry. Like just a very different emotion, right? Because there's just like I think kids get angry. But then for me, like I used to be like, no, like I would get angry that I would feel angry. So it's like, no, you're not allowed to feel angry. Like stop it. And so like it's a whole nother emotion. And so more recently I've noticed, and this clarified it very well, but I noticed I was feeling guilty about feeling guilty. And I was like, oh, this is new. Like I used to feel guilty. But I'm like, wait, no, like I don't want this. Like what's going on? But it goes back to, it's because I thought I was, like when I saw something I didn't like, I was like, well, if I manifested the good things, then I also manifested the bad things. So yeah, like the quote that was really confusing me that I was telling my friend about was the Matrix quote of, if there is no spoon, if there is no SP and there's only me, well then doesn't that mean that whatever I am seeing is me, so then it is my fault? And then that's where the guilty about feeling guilty came in. Maybe if we can clarify through that quote, that would also help me out.
Through which quote? I'm sorry, there is no spoon?
Yeah, because, so, like, kind of just recapping, like, in my mind, my ego or, like, the story that I was telling myself was, well, if there is no spoon and there's only me, and I see something I don't like my mom having cancer, well, then I made that, right? Like, again, like that tallying, like I have to take credit for that because there is no spoon. There is no mom with cancer. There's only me. So this sucks. Like I did this to myself.
Gotcha. No, okay. Okay, I get what you're saying. Don't get sucked into the drama of trying to judge things as right and wrong or good and bad. A more healthy approach for you to take is everything just is. Everything is absolutely neutral. Okay? And now, because of that, you get to choose what you want moving forward. Yeah, situations show up. Okay? And maybe it's old data. Maybe it isn't. But it doesn't matter. Your job is not to sit there and try to figure out why it happened. Your job is to decide that it doesn't happen anymore. It's to choose what you want moving forward. That's it. So, yes, you can sit here and you can say, oh, well, because my specific person is showing up like this must mean that this is me. Or you can decide, no, this cannot be the end because this person is me. They are within me. Therefore, they cannot leave me. They cannot be separate from me. I am love, so they must love me. They cannot think differently than what I assume of them and of myself. And I know myself as God. I know myself as love. That's it. You have infinite possibilities within you. Infinite. And so you're going to see infinite possibilities out there. Now, when you decide what you want, when you get clarity from whatever situation, you get to choose moving forward what you actually want. So that's that whole, there is no spoon. What it's saying is you are the only one that changes. It's not about me digging into this situation, trying to figure out what it's trying to teach me. It's not trying to teach you anything. It's just showing up. It's about you deciding who you want to be moving forward from that situation. You can't bend the situation. There's nothing to figure out in this situation. The only thing that needs to change is your perspective of yourself. There is no spoon. You're the one who bends, right? So if anybody doesn't know what that quote is from The Matrix, Neo, who is the archetype of the chosen one, the awakened one, all of us, right? In the beginning of the movie, he is known as Mr. Anderson. He works a regular job, doesn't really like it. It's like a hacker. And Morpheus, who represents the higher self, Morpheus brings Neo into this fold, this group, and considers Neo to be the one. Morpheus, of course, is the personification of John the Baptist, or the higher self, the herald of the one. So he holds this vision of Neo even before Neo holds it of himself. So part of this journey, when Neo's starting to finally he hasn't realized who he was at all, actually. But part of this journey is that Morpheus, the higher self, takes Neo to the oracle. The oracle represents inner wisdom. Okay, that inner voice that you can accept or not accept, which is what she was pushing Neo towards, right? She was pushing him and said, yeah, I can give you these predictions, but you have to accept it, right? So she even went as far to tell him that he's not the one. Pushing him to figure out that it doesn't matter what she says or doesn't say, he has to make the decision anyway. Even when she said he wasn't the one, he accepted it. Dang, you're right. It's just that Morpheus was he was just so convinced. And I guess I was almost convinced too. Okay. And then she gave him a choice. Well, you're going to have to save one of you. One of you going to die. One of you's going to live. Go and pick. Pushing him off of the bridge, right? Kind of highlighting this point that people can show you the door, but you have to jump out of the plane. You have to jump into the knowing that you're the one. It's not something that you can hear from someone and just assume, right? What did she even say? I think there was a quote on the wall. Matter of fact, before that, she said, being the one is like being in love. No one can tell you. You just know it, right? Bones to bones. You just know it in your core. You are the one, an absolute fucking bar. Okay, so before Neo gets to the oracle, the inner wisdom, he's talking to these kids out in the hallway, right, in a waiting room. And one of the kids has this spoon and just bending the shit out of it with his mind. The spoon's just bending all kinds of directions. He gives the spoon to Neo. Neo's looking at it. And the kid says, try not to bend the spoon. Okay, it's impossible. What does this spoon represent? It represents anything outside of you. It could have been a spoon, could have been a book, could have been a computer, could have been a specific person, could have been a dollar, could have been a bank account, could have been a car. Try not to change the spoon. Try not to bend the spoon. It is impossible You can't change this person. It is impossible. Simply try to realize the truth. So what truth? There is no spoon. Then you'll see it's not the spoon that bends, but you. It was never that person changing. It was you changing your assumption of yourself, of them, and allowing a different version of them to step forward, choosing a different version of them to step forward. It's not about what you like or dislike in reality. It's about what you're choosing to experience moving forward. Don't get stuck in that drama of trying to figure out what did I do right or wrong. Whatever. Assume reality just is what it is from this point forward. And now it's just giving you clarity on what you want. If they don't show up a certain way and you want more of them, or you want them to show up a different way, it's not them that has to change, it's you. Don't take reality personally. Take it lightly. It is a game. It's supposed to be a game. It's not supposed to be something for you to get sucked into and blame yourself and this is my fault and that is my fault. Yes, we will often say that in the beginning of the journey. It's all your fault. We will say that in the beginning of the spiritual journey. That is just meant to wake you up to the truth that you can change everything. The moment you start taking accountability for this situation, a situation you don't want, when you take accountability for it, not meaning blame it on you, not meaning trying to sit there and internalize what you did wrong, but decide that's not who you are anymore. This is who you are moving forward. Now what? That situation can actually change to match you. Make sense?
Yep, just typing away my notes. Yesenia, you can take over.
Oh, I'm listening. Oh,
Cool.
I had already asked you this the other day, which is it's just because me and Glow we had this conversation too, and it was just like like we were talking about like choosing was still doing, but you told me that that whether if certain things were happening on the 3D and we didn't prefer them, we had to choose if we want more of it or not more of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's still choosing. Now we don't basically have to do anything in the 3D, but we consciously do have to choose if we prefer it or not.
That's the work, right? The faith without works is it. That's the work. It's the work of consciousness. It's accepting your choice. Accepting your choice as the truth. That's the only work. That is the only work. So when I'm saying do, I'm saying I'm not going out there and trying to do something in physical reality. I'm just deciding who I am. I'm not reaching for it. I am accepting it. The work is just an accepting. Once it's done, it's the Sabbath. I'm in the Sabbath now. Which just means I rest and I remember until it all unfolds perfectly. So yes, you have to choose. That was your question, right?
Me?
Yeah. It was your question, right? If we have to choose.
No. I was just kind of going over because I had already asked you this, and me and Glow were talking about it, and Glow had asked if, she had asked just that. She's like, well, because she thought, or no, not her, but we thought that it was like still choosing. It's like still some sort of doing, but you're like, well, you have to choose. The same way you choose your God, you have to choose whether you want more of that or not want more of that. So still choosing, but no, it wasn't a question. It was just kind of like going back to that. We can still get to decide what we want to experience. So we do have to choose.
Yeah, we do choose. We choose. Even if the choice is just I am God, therefore all of my desires show up.
I think it's crazy how from that discussion, like this question came up, like it just organically kind of merged into my question.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple other questions too.
Okay.
So the first one is, I I know you said just take everything day by day, and the human side of me that is bitching and moaning. God is still, the God in me is still, but the human side of me is bitching and moaning, and going through, like, passing by the places SP and I used to go to, and like the pain and like just experiencing and noticing like the trauma of like the things that happened. So like getting broken up with, like in a Zoom, like during couples therapy, like how painful that was, or like things that were misinterpreted, and like fights in public places that like because I still live here, like he moved away, so I still have to look at those things every day. Like we went to Disneyland together, so even in my place of work, at the happiest place on earth, like just getting like really sad, and be like, and just like nurturing like myself, and it's like giving myself grace. But that uncomfortability has been yeah, like every day. Like I think about how I remember somebody came on live and asked you something, and I remember the response you gave was like, if someone I love passed away, you don't think I would stop going on TikTok live for 6 months and I wouldn't mourn? Like, being sorry for yourself or being sad or mourning is not pathetic. So that's not the story I'm telling myself. That is like so far from my mind. I am allowing myself to feel. And but it's just so wildly uncomfortable.
And that's fine, right? It is wildly uncomfortable, but are you still giving yourself permission to decide what you want even through this? Or are you getting sucked into, when I feel better, then I can get what I want? Which one, what is your story right now?
Oh, okay. So you unlock something that I've never questioned or asked. So maybe this is a blind spot. I want to go back to when I feel better, I can get what I want. No, I do. I do agree with you, Senya. Like in the beginning, you probably thought that, or you still you could think that.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you in that. In like again, a year ago, right? Not even a year, maybe 6 months ago. I definitely that was the story. Currently, that's not it. It's if anything, like the current story is really interesting in that I really do see love and perfection everywhere. And even if I didn't see it, I would still know that it's there. But a random, just good things just keep happening to me. It's just, and it's beautiful and it's great. And yeah, so it reminds me that hey, you are God. You are creating your reality. Look at all these things. Look at the mirror. Look at all these wonderful things being reflected back to you. Even when you feel this intense, deep sadness. I walked into work crying yesterday, but no one knows, just because I think just work is a different place, right? There's a level of professionalism. And but yeah, just a coworker randomly was like, "Can I get you something from Starbucks?" And I said, "Surprise me." And I was like, "Okay, well, what kind of do you like sweet stuff?" And I was like, "I like food, so okay, I'll get you a cake pop." But came back with a caramel frap and a cake pop and got me the biggest cup. And I was just over joyed at wow, I really am loved and supported unconditionally, and it was just really nice. But things like that just keep happening to me. So the story is not when I feel better, I'll get what I want. I'm letting myself feel, and no matter what, my day is perfect. Every moment is perfect. My sadness is perfect. But again, it's just that deep uncomfortability.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, okay. With this person, have you truly accepted that they're within you?
How do you know? I guess my answer has to be no, because I don't even know what that question means.
Gotcha. All right. So, God is within you, right? All right,
Wait,
Glow.
this is really interesting. I've never asked myself this. So I'm like, huh? Like, you really, like, throw me off track. What does that mean? Is God inside me?
Yes. Do you... Okay. Define God to me. Define God to me.
Okay, I know the dictionary answer is I am that I am, but I'm not gonna give you I'm not gonna give you the, like, if this was a school test, right, that's the academic answer, so I'll give you, like, my answer.
Yeah.
I think God is life. He's in my breath, like, he's in my heart. I do nothing to make my heart beat. He's in, God is in, not even a he, right? Just God is God, and God is in, like, this really fat cat that I'm sitting next to, and God is in, the moon right now, and the electricity, like, that's just, like, running, and
Yes.
God just is. It's
Okay.
just like, yeah, God just is everything, everywhere, love, beauty, like, and even the things that are not love and beauty, it just is.
Perfect. So God is everything. The isness of everything, right?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, that's like my, like, honest, genuine answer.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So if God is everything and God is within you, even Jesus said the kingdom is within you. God, all that there is within you. What would that mean?
I'm just gonna comment really quick because that comment made me really smile a lot. But some Sierra Berita said, "Love that question. It seems incomprehensible to the human mind, to be honest." So what does it mean when the kingdom of God is within me? I used to think that meant that I held the keys to heaven. I don't think I think that anymore. Because again, I feel like that's a very academic answer. And like, I went to church my whole, like growing up. And so I've won Bible memorization contests. So like, I can regurgitate like no other. But like, when it comes down to like really comprehending and understanding, like, the kingdom of God is within me, is that something like
Would you like to call? Would you like to phone a friend?
Yes, please. I'm stumped because I haven't broken out of the,
Okay.
like, the getting stuff. Like, when I hear that, I hear I'm getting stuff. And that's all I hear right now.
Yeah. I got you. We're gonna let's work through that. All right. What friend do you want to phone?
This thing is here.
Yes. Did you hear the question?
I did, yes.
All right. So if God is the fabric of reality, God is everything. Then what does it mean to say that God is within you? For God.
God is within me. Wow, it was what we were talking about earlier. If God is everything, which I am part of that everything, God is within me, that means that I cannot be lacking of anything, because if God is all, then love, abundance, and everything, it's me
Exactly.
as well.
Makes sense, Love? So everything is within you, right? So the fat cat sitting by you is within you. It's just everything that you're looking at is a projection of consciousness. It's a projection of God. But the kingdom is within you. God is within you. You are God. This is what it means. It means that everything is within you. Everything. Everything that you see, that specific person, everything originates within you. Does that make sense?
Oh, right. Like how if I got amnesia, my mom would not be my mom anymore. She would just be a person.
Right. And so you experience her based on the story. That's part of it. That's how we explain it. But it's deeper than that, right? Because if you got amnesia right now, your mom would be meaningless to you. But what makes her special is the story that you tell. And that story that you tell is just based on past experiences and you pulling memory. The same way that that specific person is based on past experiences and you pulling memory. But when we get so caught up in the external and the past and memories, we start building identities for people we don't even want. So that's neither here nor there. Okay, we're gonna get right back to that. But it's deeper than that. It's literally everything that you're looking at out there. It originates within you. There's literally nothing outside of you. You've seen The Matrix, right?
Yeah. So again, there is no spoon. There's only me.
So there's a part where Neo's waking up and he's in like this tube and it's like harvesting humans where all the humans are in these like little cases. And they have like all these plugs in them. He has to unplug himself, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that part was scary.
Okay, cool. So the purpose of that tub was what? It was that all these human beings were locked into this tunnel. They really weren't anywhere, but they were dreaming. They were in this projection of reality. And they were all dreaming this reality together. They called it the Matrix. You know what I'm talking about? All right, so this is how reality truly is. This is not scary. This is actually reality. Reality is no more than a dream. The same way that you go to sleep at night and you can build a full physical reality in your mind and walk through it, touch it, interact with it. Even though it's a dream, it feels real. You don't even know you're dreaming most of the time. You don't even know you're dreaming until you wake up. This is the same way that reality is. That dream is all within you. It's all here. But when you wake up, you think you're waking up, but you're waking up into another dream. This entire reality is all here. It's within you. There's nothing out there. Does that make sense so far?
So is it inverted, you're saying, as the Matrix?
Inverted. No, it's the same. It's literally, you are, okay, imagine yourself in a void right now with your eyes closed. Imagine you hooked up to a machine and it's projecting everything that you think out in front of you. And you believe it's real. You get locked in there and you wake up into this physical reality. All right? And now everything feels real, but everything is just God. Okay, this is all God and it all originates within you. It's all your mind. You're having a dream right now.
And the dream is the reality. So the me in the cocoon is what I think is reality.
Exactly. It's what you think is reality, okay? So it's not like you're not interacting with real things. You're interacting with aspects of your own consciousness, of things within you, projected out. So when I say things like, oh, everybody is within you anyway, it's the remembrance that all of this is a dream. It all originates from within me. Therefore, there's nothing, this person can't leave me. There's no separation. There's only me in this reality. There's only me dreaming of this in this reality. Therefore, I don't have to perceive the separation. I can go to the truth that this person is just within me anyway, and I can accept that. Following so far?
Yeah. So, like, I remember that one part in the movie, there's no real villain, right? There's no, like, you can't, like, point a finger. It's not like Jafar from Aladdin. But, like, that one character that, like, sells everyone out, not Neo and Morpheus out, right? Because he wants steak again. But it's like, why do you want the steak? It's not real. Like, the steak's not real, right? Like, you're gonna go back into the embryonic water thingy, and it's like, and so, like,
how many people?
So my SP is the steak. Like, it's just because I want to feel, I want to create the feeling of experiencing of eating the steak, right?
Yes.
Or SP.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, they are the steak, but you don't have to go back to sleep to get it. You just have to remember the steak is within you.
Yeah, that I can create the steak.
Yes.
That's where it gets muddy, but yes.
Yeah. You get to choose however you want the steak to come out, perfect, medium well, avoid an attachment, or absolutely adores you. You get to decide that. And how do you decide that? By knowing who you are, right? Because you're God and there's nothing out there and everything is within you. You get to choose that you're always absolutely adored. You're never left because there's nowhere for anything to go. Nothing can ever leave you because there's nowhere for for it to go. There's only you. There's only your consciousness.
Yep, I am following.
Does that clear anything up?
I'm gonna be so honest, I forgot my original question, but it was just like, so now when I pass by, right, like, so I'm literally across the street from like a restaurant that he really, really liked that we used to like hold hands and walk to. And I'm thinking about like once we're off, like, I'll just go and walk by myself, like I can feel the sadness because my ego can bitch and moan if it wants to. I still come back to not the remembering, but just the knowing, the simple decision and knowing, not even decision, just the knowing of like, I know who I am, I know what I am, and like, just take it one day at a time, one step at a time, like that sadness is temporary, even though it doesn't feel like it right now. I know it's temporary. And go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And it doesn't matter what I feel, because in the end, I get everything. How could I'm not? I'm creating reality.
Exactly. That's it. You get everything that you want. How could you not? Because you're absolutely creating reality. It's all within you. So that's what manifestation becomes. It becomes this remembrance that everything has been within you the whole time. There's nothing out there. You're just remembering that there is nothing out there. And so that is what, and that's what dissolves the illusion of separation. Because even someone walking away is an illusion of separation. They might seem like they walk out in the physical reality, but they can't because there's only you. There's nowhere for them to go. Nothing out there exists.
Can I jump in for a second? Hello. I was so excited you were on today because I just love hearing where you are in your journey and what you're learning, and it reminds me, some of the questions you ask remind me of things. But now that you have that, sorry about my dog. Now that you have that kind of understanding of consciousness, one thing that has been, I went through I went through a phase where I was trying to figure it out so I could control my experience. And I would say I battled with that for quite some time. Like we all kind of get into this area or this arena, conscious creation, because something happened that was unideal. We observed a pattern, and we're trying to figure out why does this keep happening. And so it took me a really long time, and I still struggle at times because I'm having a human experience. But now that you kind of understand the consciousness part, I want you to consider this. Like, I've heard you, and I am like a huge lover. I hold on. I have memory books. I hold on to memories. I love making plans, and those things are wonderful, but none of them are rooted in the present moment. And everybody kept saying, get present, like, because I would go to a lot of sporting events. I'm a huge college basketball fan. We would go to basketball tournaments together. We would go to football games together, all kinds of stuff. And I felt like, even recently, the Players Era thing was going on in Vegas, and normally I'd be at that, and it was killing me. I wasn't there, and I kept thinking about it. And then I was like, wait a second. All of those memories, reason why you can, the reason I'd say to just accept that truth for a second, none of it's real, is because you only have right this millisecond. And from this millisecond now, you can decide who you are, what you want to experience, and think from that place, and that's what you create with. It's like all these different frames of experiences are existing until we're observed. But if we keep looking back at the memories, whether they were good, whether they were bad, whatever they are, you're creating from that space. And what do you think is going to keep projecting? You're going to start having, or you're going to continue to have experiences that are similar. You're going to go on the same walk. It's not just magically going to go away until you decide, hey, I really loved that. It doesn't exist anymore. What do I want to make in this moment? What if you look at that place for the first time and you think, God, I can't wait to go back and have an amazing dinner. Like, what if you look at that place and notice the neon lights, if there's neon lights? What if you walk in Disney and you notice the color of the cotton candy and start experiencing joy? Because those are all the things you're experiencing in that present moment. But if you keep looking to the past, somebody said it was genius. One of the comments were like, everywhere you look, you're noticing the absence of. So that's what you keep experiencing. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm wondering if that's something that might help you. It's really helped me a lot, drop resistance to what is and kind of not accept it or whatever. I mean, acceptance is kind of a funny word, but just go, well, what if this isn't bad? Like, this is kind of dope to have the present moment. You know? I don't know if that helps.
It does. Yeah, it does. I put it in the comments. Also, can you repeat what you just said about you saw someone else write something in the comments? I can't find it.
Somebody said, like, well, that's hard for her to not see it all as separate when everywhere she looks, she's noticing the absence of it. And I thought that was a really wise comment because that is exactly what's happening is think about how you're using this present moment. I'm not suggesting passivity, but I'm suggesting non-resistance to what is. Because the moment that, like if okay, Glow, I said this to a friend of mine. I had sent him a WhatsApp message and I was like, you're a jerk. That was it, just a 4-second message. And then I followed it up with, by the time you hear this message, I promise you, you're thinking one of a few things. Why would Stefania say I'm a jerk? Is she PMSing? What's her problem? Did I say something wrong? I guarantee you were telling a story, one of those 3 stories from listening to that message. You took your present moment and you made my statement a story about you. And the moment that I did that to myself, like I realized that I was doing that in the present moment. Like, and I'll tell you, I just had it happen last week where I was kind of crying about not seeing, I'm a big Gonzaga fan, you know, they got their asses handed to them by Michigan on Sunday, but I was crying because that's something I would be doing in Vegas normally is going to tournaments. And I realized, wait a second, I'm using the present moment to focus on lack instead of the fact that I'm still watching this game, I'm enjoying it. And this isn't about like even settling, but it's about using this present moment, coming center, experiencing joy, and then letting that go. I don't have to plan for the future, nothing. I just gotta be present and happy because who we are is what ultimately reflects. So, I don't know, I thought that might be helpful, but it sounds like Dana's a little lost, but
It is really helpful. Like I put in the comments that something that like it doesn't like I still feel fully like in the present. I still feel the sadness fully. Because I also am a believer in that like sadness is beautiful. Like yeah, like it, I don't know how to like explain it now, but just like, can you imagine never feeling sadness? Like, oh, like it's like
No, it's not about not
Yeah.
feeling. It's the identity that's describing sadness, is it not? What could make that energy and motion mean sad? Because I'll tell you, I cry when I see my favorite team win. Sometimes if it's like a good enough game, I cry. Would you say? But I also cry when I see them lose. But it's the story I'm telling about that energy I'm feeling. So no, I can't imagine not feeling that same energy and emotion. And having emotion is amazing. Are the stories that you're telling that are attached to that emotion you're feeling, do they serve you? Or are they contrary to what you want?
Yeah, so feel the emotion and then pay attention to the knowing, like just come back. Yeah, and then to double down on what you said, something that has been helping me, like still kind of navigate the uncomfortableness. I saw on TikTok recently, like treat everything like it's the last time. Like today's the last, like this is the last car drive you'll have, and like this is the last time you'll get to hear your mom's voice. And so that was actually really helpful on Thanksgiving, because yeah, like on Thanksgiving a year ago, like I know what we were doing. Like I was with SP, like it was, and because everything had closed, we just like held hands and we walked to 24/7 CVS and we got hot Cheetos and then we watched Squid Games too. Like it's like, yeah, I recognize that I'm very like, and I know the holidays is just hard for a lot of people, and so
Girl, you're telling me I spent Thanksgiving, my first Thanksgiving by myself, and I was fine because it was crazy. I had all the same thoughts too, and I was like, well, what is it that I want to feel right now? Like, because I normally host, all the things, my person's here, we watch a lot of sports, all that stuff. And then I'm like, well, why can't I feel those things right now? Am I still looking for something outside of me to tell me who I am? Because I know I'm loved, I know I matter, I know I'm pretty awesome, actually. I mean, I don't mean that in a conceited way, but like I enjoy my own company. So why am I focusing on what's not here or what's different? You can focus on, you can notice what's different, but are you noticing it from a place of not having or from who you are? And it's what got me through the day, to be honest with you. I was like, actually, I really enjoyed I also broke my TV, which I need to manifest. I need to revise that. I'm kidding. But I was watching a movie on my phone, but I don't know. I think, and I like the whole think of everything like the last time. I would just make sure, for me, I'm probably projecting, that would instantly fill me with lack. Like, I would think it's going to get taken away rather than act like everything, you're experiencing everything for the first time, But I think, Glow, I think that I love listening to you, and I hear so much of myself in you sometimes, and then I get these like clear-headed thoughts, and I'm like, wait, this worked for me, maybe I'll share it with her. And you're a beautiful person, and I would focus on who you are. You're a beautiful person. Nothing outside of you changes that. In fact, everything reflects it, but they're not there to validate that.
thank you.
No, thank you.
I really appreciate it. Truly speechless. The other question I had, because I feel better about that. I don't know if Alex wanted to add anything.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Y'all, I don't even know. I'm sorry, y'all. I was over
You're
here eating
muted.
this fruit.
We can't hear you.
My bad. I was over here eating this fruit. Y'all got it. You got it. I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, I was curious because Alex, I try to hop on as to listen to you too, and I think that's the beauty about having a community like this is we're still having a human experience, and so sometimes it just takes just hearing it over and over again until you're like, wait, no, I really got this, and we've spent our whole lives looking for like outsourcing our image of ourselves. Even when we talk about reflections, we're still outsourcing our image. But have you ever just like gotten yourself ready and we're like, man, I'm hot as fuck. Like I'm going out. I didn't even have to look in the mirror. Like that's the best kind of feeling. And I feel like that's kind of how I want to live my life. I don't want to look at the freaking mirror anymore.
Man, I did that shit when I was in Houston. When I was with my sister, I got my ass in trouble doing shit like that. But yeah, it is a great thing to
I
do.
have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. So I am pretty on top of all this as far as how it works. I get really caught with I have kids, so I have 2 kids, and I am currently away from them right now, and it's been kind of like a long-term thing. I get to see them here and there. And I was a stay-at-home mom at one point, so I'm used to being with them all of the time, but I'm no longer with them. And I've set my decisions. I know kind of ultimately where I want everything to go. I've decided it's going to happen. I am just letting everything unfold. The in-between, the emotion that I feel is just so intense. I miss them every day. I think about them all day, every day. And I guess I worry that I'm doing not something wrong, but I guess, like, I just don't know how to manage all of the pain and all of the longing and missing that I have when I'm away from them. Obviously, I have a ton of memories of them growing up and being with them. And so those kind of bombard me all day, every day. And I just feel really stuck. And I don't want to detach from them. They're my children. So I don't want to go through any sort of like, oh, let's just detach and everything's okay. Because to me right now, it's not okay. But I fully know wholeheartedly that this is, this topic is the truth. I know that there's no such thing as separation, but it doesn't change what I'm feeling.
Absolutely. So the one thing that stood out to me was just this belief that you must be doing something wrong, or not that you must be, that you might be doing something wrong. And that seemed to also stem from the emotion. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that I logically know
Yeah.
that I'm just supposed to let everything unfold.
Okay.
And take it as it comes. But internally it feels like such a war within me that I'm like, well, maybe I'm missing something.
Gotcha.
Maybe I'm missing a part of this, a piece of it, and that maybe I should be detaching, or maybe I should, because I've talked to other people about it before, other like teachers, and they've just said to me, well, they're not separate from you, and I'm like, that's great. They're my children. So and I'm not saying it's any different, necessarily different than an SP, but I guess it feels different than an SP. Like I birthed these people. And so I don't know how to get that to click to where it isn't so painful all of the time. Or
Gotcha.
maybe it just is painful and I just don't identify with pain. I don't know.
Well, that's where I was gonna go. Is that maybe it is painful? Does your pain keep you from getting what you want? Absolutely not, right? If this situation is something that's close to you, which it absolutely is, well, why don't you give yourself grace through it, right? Which I believe that you have. It's just that the perception of time has caused you to come up with some of these questions. Okay, should I detach more? Should I do this more? All right, should I not do this? Right? What should I do? What is it that would click to make me feel less? This is what I would ask you. Okay. Do you truly want to feel less? I don't believe you. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to answer that question for you. Do you truly want to feel less?
I would like to feel less desperation. It really clicked with me when you were talking about your mom and you said that someone asked you the question if you felt desperate or not, and you said that you absolutely did feel desperate during that time. I don't mind pain so much. I'm a pain, champ over here. I'm used to that, so to speak. But the desperation and feeling like you mentioned time is one of those things that is driving me insane because they're growing up so quickly and I'm missing all of it. And that's one thing I can never get back. I can't ever get that back. And I know time is an illusion and all of that stuff, but it's an illusion that we've bought into. We live by clocks and by calendars and ages and birthdays, and it's stuff I can't get back. And that feeling drives me into desperation, and I would like to feel less desperate and a little more trusting.
Gotcha.
And, leaning on the arms of God type thing.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So what first helped me to get through the desperation was taking the power away from the desperation. I'll often talk about how it's not necessarily the fear that's the problem. It's our fear of the fear. It's my fear of the desperation. It's the desperation feels like it's pulling me to believe that I need to do something more. It's pulling me to feel like I'm doing something wrong. It's just a very uncomfortable thing. So to get rid of the desperation, first we got to figure out, okay, why are you scared of the desperation?
Oh, it just makes me feel like I'm losing my mind.
But you're not, right?
It makes me feel stuck. I feel so stuck when I feel desperate. I feel like there's no forward movement. I feel like it's going to be like this forever. I feel like, I'm just going to lose them. I'm going to turn around and they're going to be in their 20s. And I'm going to have, been in this situation that I'm in right now, for years.
I see.
Logically, I know it's not true. Emotionally, it's still... Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. The desperation just makes you think about all the things you don't want to experience. Can you begin to, and I'm not saying that you just flip a switch and not think of those things anymore, but can you use your desperation as a trigger to remind yourself of something? How can you soothe yourself through this desperation? Through that feeling. The first step in alleviating it is, okay, cool. You know why you don't like it. You don't like it because of the story that it's allowing you to tell, or it's pushing you to tell. Now, how can you remind yourself in the middle of that desperation that this too shall pass, that there is no separation, that they are here right now? What can you do to remind yourself in those moments?
I guess just practice doing it. I started adapting your phrase at the end that you used to always say, I am that I am no matter what, to the daily things of life. When I get really overwhelmed and really frustrated, I find myself, other things outside of them, just life. I will just kind of take a step back and say, but I am that I am no matter what. And then I just drop it.
Mm-hmm.
And I move on. And so, I can work towards, when I feel the desperation, just saying that. And even if I don't necessarily feel it in the moment, just get in the habit of it. Because I know that this stuff works when you create habits. Those habits are very helpful. I know they're just permission slips, but they work. They're good permission slips.
Yeah, they're permission slips and they're perfectly fine. So
Yeah.
And so let's also talk about the energy of desperation, right? The energy is energy. Energy is God in motion, right? Energy in motion it forms this emotion of desperation, but truly it is just energy flowing through you. How familiar are you with alchemy?
I know the basics of it, transmuting things into other things.
Gotcha. So when it comes to energy transmutation, right, or emotional transmutation, you familiar with that?
Not really.
So I'll tell a story. So I had a homeboy. I do business with him, and he's extremely quick tempered. Okay, and we talked about alchemy for a while. And one of the things that happened the last time he traveled overseas to this factory was that he felt slighted by one of the people that we were working with. And he's extremely quick tempered, so he was frustrated for a while. And so what he did was he decided while he was in that frustration, he simply accepted, okay, this is just energy, it's just God. And he began to simply take that energy and say, okay, if it can be pointed, if it's just me feeling more of this energy, where do I want to focus it? And he began to focus this on how it would be when everything was fine. How would it be when, this situation worked out and there was more money and this person came back wanting to do business with them. Right? And so he began to use that energy in that way, just transmuting it in the moment. Long story short, magically a bunch of things happened to him almost immediately. That was just one story that's close to me. But all that alchemy is, all it is taking a certain energy. It could be energy of desperation, of sadness, of pain, of fear, and actually choosing, okay, what do I want to point this energy towards right now? The energy itself is neutral. I could let it pass, or I can sit there and I can say, okay, well, let me say this is how I'm going to feel. This is how I'm going to feel when my children are here, when I'm able to see them every day. This is how it's going to be. Right? And so now what you're going to start doing is you associate a different meaning to that emotion. Right? These are just different tools to help you deal with the emotion. Number one is take away the power, right? The desperation bothers you because it pointed you down the story that you didn't want to go to, that you're losing time, that you might be doing something wrong. All right. So we reaffirm that you're not in those situations. But now it's about also transmuting that energy. So when you feel that energy, what can you point that energy towards? How can you think or focus on what you want? Which just gives that energy naturally a different meaning and allows you to handle it better moving forward.
Yeah, I like that. I can use that.
Okay. So those are two techniques. But of course, the bottom line, the meat and potatoes, what I'm always going to get to, is that it does not matter your feelings, okay, of desperation. It doesn't matter your feelings of distance, because there is no distance. Just like everybody else says, and I'm going to reiterate it, there is no separation. And also, you're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing else that you got to learn. There's nothing else that you have to reach towards. Right? It's simply when those thoughts come up, when those beliefs come up, it's you remembering that they're not the truth. You are the truth. And you get to decide how your reality is going to unfold from this point moving forward. You don't have to reach for anything. There's no more new techniques. You're not doing anything wrong. You are God. There is nothing that you could do wrong. We simply sit in our assumption and make the choice that we're doing something wrong. We start assuming we're doing something wrong, which leads to certain issues.
I've taken to, and I know it's, again, just another technique and permission slips, and I'm not usually a huge fan of them because I've found that when I just live and I let things evolve, it's really when magical stuff kind of happens, when I let things unfold.
Yeah.
But I do inner conversations with both of them. I just imagine them there with me and in front of me, and I just talk to them, and tell them I love them and try to imagine them there and, really just kind of, I guess, distract myself from the moment. Because like I said, it's sometimes it's just all day, every day. And and it's very overwhelming after a while, and it's been this way for months now. So it's very overwhelming, and I don't necessarily think that it's something I'm continuing to cause over and over again. I definitely don't have that belief. Like, I know that this just is the unfolding of it, however it's supposed to unfold. But, you know, it just sucks. It's just really rough, and this is my first time experiencing anything like this since being aware or awake or whatever. So just trying to figure out how to navigate it and get through it as, not to say as easy as possible, because I don't think it's going to be easy, but just get through it. You know, yeah.
Leslie, I was wondering, like, you seem to know, I mean, you seem to have a pretty good understanding. Does your body believe what you're saying?
I think so.
Just say, I know it's unfolding. I know it's unfolding.
Yeah,
Does your
yeah.
body?
I've watched it. I've watched so many things happen in the circumstance that there's just too much evidence for me not to believe that it's happening. That doesn't mean I don't cry my eyes out.
For sure.
You know, I was alone Thanksgiving. It was awful, but I made it. But I mean, I think so. This is, like I said, this isn't new. None of this is new to me. But this situation is just so new, and it's just, I never thought I would be here, and the memories are rough. I will say the memories are rough, and when the memories kick in, my body does absolutely respond to those memories, because they are so strong and so real, and yeah.
Your greatest strength in all of this is the fact that you're feeling them. Like, because what Alex was saying, I think of this whole life as like a mechanism, right? Like, you have cause, projection, and then reflection, and then you feel some sort of energy, and how you interpret that energy gets projected back out, and it goes around and around and around. Like, if you had to think of it that way, like a projector. I know that sounds kind of like cliche, but one thing that I think is probably like a super, you just reminded me too, like, I need to do better at feeling, is whenever I start to feel something like that tense, the tense feeling, like, my daughter, she was playing basketball today, and there was a minute I thought she was going to get hit, and she's afraid of getting injured, and I want her to keep playing basketball, so I don't want her to get hurt. But right away, I already had these stories, because I was watching this girl, and there was one moment where I was like, and I just for a minute observed that feeling, like where it was, and I'm not even kidding. I was like, that's the energy of exactly what I prefer to experience flowing through me. And I felt like no resistance to what was happening. I'm like, I mean, should she take a hit? All right, she'll be fine. She'll get back up. 5th grade basketball is no joke. Those girls are gritty. But I mean, I think I was just curious, because sometimes we tell ourselves, like, because when you hear this information over and over again, we tell ourselves that, but unless you really observe it and then kind of direct the traffic, like tell it what it is rather than relate to it from past, until you do that, it just, I feel like you're kind of owned by those emotions, but I can't imagine what but I'm here with you for sure.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely let myself feel. Sorry, that was hard. I definitely let myself feel, and like I said, I cried. I just sit there sometimes and just kind of let everything wash over me. I've been doing this for, like I said, for months now, so I'm kind of in a habit. I know that it's going to come in waves, and I just kind of ride the waves out. And that's all I really know to do until, things change. And someone had said in the comments, maybe like it's me, something about like me believing that it's not here yet. But I don't do I don't do the thing of you have to believe it in order for it to be, like, I don't believe you have to believe anything. It just unfolds, because it just is what it is, in my opinion.
So I got
Nothing.
two things that stood out to me though. My bad. I'm about to get a little tougher on you, all right? Two things that stood out. Number one is that you said twice, right? You said, it's been months. You said that exactly twice, okay? You also said, I know it's not going to be easy. Two major assumptions in that story about how things are unfolding for you. It hasn't been months. It's right now. Right now, you get to make the decision that it's done, that they're here, right? And the more that you're telling the story of it's been months, it's just creating this illusion of you spending a long time doing it. It may feel that way, and reality may look like that, but you're standing in the now moment declaring that. Even that I know it's not going to be easy. Those are both assumptions that you're making. Have you?
I never noticed that.
So those are. Go ahead.
Beauty of this community. You also said, I know things are going to change when they change, but it's all you first. I know that's kind of triggering to hear. That has to be triggering to hear, but there is nothing outside of you that's going to change. Nothing. Nothing.
Oh, no, I know there's nothing outside of me. Even they aren't outside of me. Maybe I meant more like as it unfolds, because that's nothing that I have control over, like the unfolding of it.
Even be
Just let it
careful.
unfold.
Even be careful with that though. You have them or you don't. Like the unfolding, it can put you in a place of not being where you want to be. When you say, I know it's unfolding, do you believe that it's exactly how it should be right now, or are you still waiting for something to look different?
Say that again in a different way.
When you say, I know it's all unfolding, I know that's like a really common term in this arena. It's a really common term in this arena, and it's beautiful because it can help describe, it can help fill in a gap of what you know and what you see. Don't fill in the gap. I think more people, when they say it's unfolding and unfolding and unfolding, they're still putting themselves in a space of not being the person who is experiencing it now. And that might just be my opinion, but when I know it's unfolding, to me, it sounds like you're saying, I don't have my kids with me right now, but I'm going to get them.
That's what I'm talking about. That's kind of what I'm talking about this entire time.
Yeah.
Is because they're my kids.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say oh, they're with me right now.
I know.
Because that is so. I don't know how to say, oh, they're with me right now. I do inner conversations with them.
Who are you when you're with them? Don't focus on them right now. I know that's hard. Like, if I were in your shoes, is exactly what I would do. Who am I when I'm with my kids? Who am I when I'm with my kids? What am I doing? Am I making hot chocolate right now? Who am I when I'm with my kids?
Like doing things that I would do when I was with them.
Well, just who are you? Like, I have a different vibe. Like, when my daughter's here with me on Thanksgiving, I'm usually, oh my God, I have to make this for her. I get really excited, or, I just have a different, like, essence about me. But when she wasn't here for Thanksgiving, I immediately recognized, like, wait a second, I'm looking for her to be here to be the person I am when she's with me. And it's hard when kids are involved, 1000%. It's so hard, but you can't focus on them not being here and telling yourself that they're there when clearly your mind recognizes they're not there. But you can focus on who you are when they're there and continue to be that person even when they're not there. So like the inner conversations, I don't think that's a technique at all. I think that's normal. I think about talking. My daughter's gone every other weekend, and I think of things I want to tell her, or I can't wait to tell her, or sometimes I have inner conversations. It's not a technique. It's naturally how I operate. But who are you when you're with your kids Is there a difference?
I don't think so. I'm pretty much just me.
So, right, when we talk about the having, okay, remember the having internally, it's not about, okay, what you see in reality is what's out there. But when we're saying, do you have them? It's, do you have them in consciousness? Do you know that they are yours in consciousness, that they are present with you, that there is no separation between you and them in consciousness? I'm not telling you to try to lie about reality or pretend to do things like they would be there. It's about knowing that this physical reality is always just going to be behind. I get to make a decision that it's done within me. I accept that they are mine right now within consciousness. They are within me, so there's nowhere they could go anywhere. Anyway.
Right. That's what I mean when I'm talking about it's unfolding, meaning it's unfolding in reality because reality is behind. And so the me getting to be with them in reality is unfolding. I know they're with me in consciousness. Like I said, I talk to them almost every day. I have some visualizations that I do of just seeing, the collective, or not the collective, but seeing consciousness run through me, the same consciousness that runs through me, runs through them, not being separate with them. I have some visualizations that I do for that. And it's just soothing techniques that I do to kind of bring myself down from that desperation, feeling lost, feeling like it's never gonna whatever. And at the end of the day, I know my feelings don't matter. They don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm feeling. I know that to be true. It doesn't change how it feels, if that makes sense.
Of course.
And I guess that was just kind of like, I appreciate the tools. Like, I'll definitely start trying to maybe use that energy and point it in another direction and take, maybe finding a point in the spirals to let the trigger a different response, trigger a different response for me.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then, I think you can do all those techniques. It's just always going to come down to, bottom line is remembering, when you are triggered, using that memory to actually remember that, I can be grateful in this moment because I understand that the fullness of God is within me. Reality is unfolding within me. So I've already made the decision that they're mine. So it must unfold to meet me immediately, right? Not in months, but immediately, right? So Yeah,
and I will stop saying that because that's definitely something that I catch myself. You just, caught me there saying it, and I've never really listened to myself tell it. And I know you've got to drop the stories. And when you do, things usually shift pretty quickly because you stop telling it. So I will stop telling that story out loud, and I write in my journal some, and I will stop journaling about it as well. So thank you.
Absolutely. You got this. It's already done, right? You're already in that remembrance. It takes no time. It simply requires you resting in that awareness right now. You're already there, right? Just continue to remind yourself and allow it to unfold perfectly.
I will. Thank you both.
Absolutely. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you. That was such a good situation to talk about. Like I don't know. I really love your community, man.
Yeah, it's the best.
It is. Yeah.
It's the best. Dang, who wants to...
Can we summarize that one more time? Because I feel like her question was very similar to mine, that uncomfortability.
The uncomfortability? We can definitely summarize it. So there are going to be moments, let me say it in a different way. There are going to be moments in your life where it would be cold of me to say, just get over the emotion. All right? Just get through the emotion, right? However, we know in this space that your feelings are not creating. Right? Your emotions are energy in motion. This is God, the energy of God flowing through you and being translated by a story of the identity of the ego. Huh? And so when we have this extreme feeling, whether it's desperation, whether it's fear, these are not, it's not that they're the fire, they're simply an alarm for the fire. And so you can use these feelings to begin to remind yourself who you are, right? This is what they're meant for. The feeling is telling you, hey, there's a story here. And so now, okay, what do I have to believe to be true to feel this way? Okay, so now I have this desperation. This desperation might make me say, well, I must be doing something wrong. Well, I can tell myself the truth. There is nothing that I could be doing wrong. I am the creator. Okay, well, maybe, maybe the fear does matter. Maybe this desperation is keeping me away from what I want. No, the emotion doesn't matter. The emotion is just the energy of God. It's a neutral emotion flowing through me. It doesn't matter. So we can use these things to remind ourselves of who we are. But we can also transmute. Okay, we can also transmute that energy. We can use that energy to give us clarity on what we want. Because even the desperation gives me clarity on what I want. The fear gives me clarity on what I want. Ask someone, what do you want in a man? Right? If I ask some of y'all goddesses, what do you want in a man? All of a sudden, you're going to start talking about your last 3 exes. Oh, Alex, you don't understand. He was like this, so I need someone like that. Everything that he was like this, I need somebody that was like that. All of his thises, I need a that. Right? So we tend as humans to even explain the things that we want through the lens of what we no longer want. All right? So allow those emotions to give you clarity. And then sit in that clarity and understand that that emotion is cool. Allow it to be what it is and know that you are still who you are no matter what you're feeling. Right? I'm not asking you to suppress the emotion. I'm asking you to honor it the same way that if your child walked up to you and said, I was feeling a certain type of way, you wouldn't say, get away from me until you feel better. Because I can't deal with you right now. You would say, no, you're still good. You're still perfect. You're still everything that you desire to be through this emotion. Treat yourself the same way, right? Love yourself through that situation. Make sense of it?
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
I think, like, in that analogy with the kid, or if we don't have kids, then someone I really care about, like, it's easier-ish to be there for them because it's not me experiencing it, right? So, like, I also had a mom that was experiencing physical pain, a lot of physical pain, and didn't even get to experience the relief of getting a diagnosis. Like, if there's something scarier than knowing what the thing is, it's not knowing what the thing is and then not being able to treat it because you don't know what it is. But, like, even in that scenario, like, it's easy for me to give my mom grace, and when she says outlandish things, like she wants to unalive herself because she's in so much pain, like, because she, in those moments, it's still separate from me, and I cannot I cannot feel her pain for her. All I can do is just be there, but I still, like, but the difference here is, like, I'm the one in pain, so, like, I just sit with myself, and yeah. To me, my brain says that's different.
Why? Why does your brain say it's different?
Because, like, in one situation, I don't feel the pain. So I can just be there. In the other one, like, no, like, I'm the one that's feeling the pain.
But everybody is you anyway, right?
Yeah.
So how I relate to the pain, right? Whether it's directly within me, whether it's to someone else, right? Either way, the pain isn't me. Okay, either way, it's about my identification with it, whether it's the identification of the pain within me because I feel it, whether it's an identification with the pain within somebody else and I don't feel it. Either way, I'm not the body anyway, I'm the awareness. And if everything is within me, it's all the same.
I think one though just like feels more real because I
Mm-hmm.
like it hurts. One doesn't hurt. One is I'm consoling. One is like no one is really hurt. It hurts the other person. It hurts me to see the other person in pain, but the other one is this sucks. Like I really am bitching and moaning.
Yeah. I feel you. But I mean, I get it. I get that human mind wants to rank things, but it's no different than us calling certain things right and wrong, saying this person is holier than that. It's all the same. Everything is the same. But I'm sorry, Glo. I think I missed the question, though. I apologize.
No. That was the question and that was the answer.
Okay.
So, but I did have another question. I love the Chord of Connection podcast that you were on, plugging it so
Yeah.
that everyone can go listen to it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
Thank you.
there's a part in there that I was like, whoa, what the heck? So it's when you repeat the eviction story and you talk about how it was just magically paid. And then you immediately follow it up. You followed it up. This time I noticed this detail. You may have said it before, I just didn't catch it, but this time I caught it. And you said, I was still broke
Yeah.
after it being paid, your like 7,000 bill being paid. And so what I think is so interesting is that many people on these lives have asked you what was a turning point in when you believed. And you're like, there was no one turning point. I just had this like just kind of this knowing throughout my life, and then I just had things that happened and they all got to where I am today. But like we are the same in that like everyone here, we're the same because we all have an encyclopedia of miracles and stories, of success stories. And so what I couldn't figure out was how did you go from like, wow, my $7,000 like rent was, behind a few months, it was paid. And, that was one of, not the defining moment, but it was just one of those defining moments. Versus for me, it doesn't matter how many success stories I have, I still feel broke also after. Like I've had a lot of good things happen to me, but for me, they haven't turned into defining-ish moments. I still, and being very real, I'm very frustrated and I feel very resentful. Like even like Yassi, she was so sweet and randomly she just sent me $20. She said, go get yourself something sweet. And I was like, wow, I'm abundance. I'm like unconditionally supported and loved. But then like immediately after I was like, yeah, but you're still broke. Like you still don't have, you're still not a millionaire. You're still not like, you still can't like, you still don't have the money that you want to be able to have the life that you want. And so, yeah, that was my question is like, how did you get through, how did you get through that? How do you get through that? Like, it worked, but I'm still broke and like not getting resentful and frustrated.
I stopped arguing with the truth, Glo. You're arguing with the truth right now. You are abundance. But now you're trying to make all these conditions on it. Well, I'm not this and that and that, and I feel this way and that way. No, you're arguing with the truth. The truth, it was about stripping away all of those things that contradict the truth. I am God, therefore I am abundance. I breathe abundance. I piss abundance. I shit abundance. Everything I do is abundant. Like it's just my natural state of being. I smell like abundance, right? And so when I stopped arguing with that truth and kind of going with, oh, well, I'm not a millionaire, so I'm not abundant, right? Well, back in the day, I used to say things like that as well. But all of those things are just conditional, right? Anytime that I introduce an if-then statement into my reality, I'm making the God that I am unconditional, or I'm making it conditional. Now, hear me. Whenever that 7K was paid, what changed in my mind was even if I don't see the money, I know that I have it. I don't have to see it to know that I am it. Right? That was one of the changes, and that changes happen a lot. That is what manifestation is. Even if I don't know it, or even if I don't see it, I already know it is what it is. I already know that I have it. I know that it's done. So that simply became the focus of my life. Is I walk through reality. It doesn't matter what I see. I know that I am it. All right, and that just becomes. You just get better with that over time. Your consciousness gets more and more rooted and more solid in that over time, right? That you are it no matter what. Those doubts, those fears, the frustration, all of that pushback, it's just the mind and body trying to catch up with this new truth. You are in this new truth right now. You've accepted it. The mind and the body have been caught up in the illusion for 20, 30, 40, 50 years for some people. Of course, you're still going to have these thoughts that say, well, what about this, Alex? Well, what about that? You don't have this. You don't have that. Okay, that's all mind identification, right? Those things show up, but I am prosperity. I've been abundance even when things weren't showing up. Even when I was abundance, even when the rent wasn't paid. I was just fighting against it more. And I'm abundance. Even when I said I was still broken, I was looking around, I was abundance then. But I was still looking for physical proof. So it's about just going and training your mind over and over and over again about this until even your silence is an affirmation on it.
Even your what? Did you say silence?
Yeah, even your silence becomes an affirmation of the truth. Yep.
Yeah, Glow, I had a particularly difficult week at work last week, where I had a conversation with my boss. I work as a financial director for a law firm, and I really love it, but I would say I never stress out, but we had a few particularly stressful things happen within the firm, and it impacted our cash flow, and it caused some really uncomfortable discussions. And in the moment, I was like, oh my God, like I'm failing, because I've always just been a controller.